Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and some of our best friends to come and join you on the show today. Welcome to episode 704 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, along with A.D. Drew and Wilton Jackson. We are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KSWH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, let's bring everybody on board to see how they are doing today. As we're doing that, let me go straight to Charles Bishop. Charles Bishop, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Doc. Doing well. I see some comments earlier. Some folks say they're quiet. They had a rough week this past week, so we'll see if week 3 is a little bit better for everybody.
Yeah, I know you got beat up for putting people on the ledge. It sounds like the fans are.
Yeah, I saw ledge behavior today. I saw ledge behavior today. So, yeah, we might have some folks really out there on the ledge. So.
Let's go to you, Mike. How are you doing today? And are you in Philly? Where are you? Around the world? Are you in the United States? Have they got you abroad? You in Brazil? Where are you at?
No, I am in Philadelphia. So I was in Baltimore yesterday. So I'm back up to Philly today, and I'm in Philly for the next 3 days. But it's all good. So I met a few SIAC folks in the airport. So that'll be interesting. So this ledge talk, if you on the ledge, you on the ledge. Just call a spade a spade. I ain't on no ledge, whatever. Talk to some southern folks. If you on the ledge, you on the ledge. Just call a spade a spade.
Yes. Well, I have a consortium. I'll be finding a way up to my way to Philadelphia, back again since last time we went up there to join you in the great city that you hosted us while you're there. Great job, Mike, I should say, for the Alpha Phi Fraternity Convention. But, that's a different thing. Wilton doesn't quite know something about that. We'll leave that for another day. With that being said, I'll find my way back up there. Since I'm picking on Wilton Jackson II, let me ask him how he's doing.
Doc, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Another week of football coming up. I was with Charles in Hattiesburg this weekend to watch Jackson State. Pretty interesting game, to say the least. And to Mike's point, it is definitely some schools on the ledge. I gotta say it. Southern is out there, but I'm just ready to see what's gonna happen going forward.
I tried to tell y'all about Southern last year. They had a little bit of magic ball. They might get it going again. But I told you this year and listened to y'all and pushed them up, and now I'm just a year behind. I told y'all fall so much for this. I mean, great program, great history. Some things not quite going right now. Maybe they can figure it out. With that being said, let's go to the SIEC guru, one of two that we know that we bring on the show. This one is our partner, A.D. Drew. Just want to say thanks again for the Morehouse shirt. Deuce was able to talk to his cousin and brag that he had a Morehouse shirt, as he is a freshman at Morehouse. And I need to check to see if he's made it by your office. I know you're busy, so hopefully his excuse is that he hadn't caught you there versus not made it over there. We'll see. How you doing, AD?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for not saying SIAC or SIAC and calling us by our proper name.
Some of us do our homework. Some of us do our homework. You had a show that talked about media terminology. We have a book out there, Mr. Ken Rashad. I have a book. It's probably too expensive for most people to get. It's more of an academic book. With that said, you shared me some love. But between that show, Ken Rashad's books, what we do on this show, I don't get it. When I'm on these media things and people can't pronounce the name nomenclature of the institution and or the conferences.
Yeah.
That is a challenge.
Yeah. Now, we're going to see how big time Mike is. Mike, I just got to ask you, did you catch the train from Baltimore to Philly or did you fly from Baltimore to Philly?
Oh, man, that dude is sedity. I caught the train. I went from Philadelphia to Baltimore. I caught the train. Watch this. How did you get from Baltimore to Philly, Mike?
Why you want to know? Why you asking? Why you asking?
They have first class on. They have first class on the train.
Yeah, I know.
You get a sleeper car.
I'm accustomed to flying right now. And I fly first class, so I have not adapted. It's been a while since I lived in Europe, so I got to readjust to this train thing. So,
man, with that said. And Mike doing too much. Let's get to this news of the day and give these folks what they want. We got some updates. ESPN revises MEAC Challenge rating. Over 1 million viewers tuned in from HBCUsports.com. Let me give you the details. ESPN Events announced Monday that the revised Nielsen rating show more than 1 million viewers tuned in to the 2025 Cricket MEAC Challenge kickoff at Center Park Stadium in Atlanta. North Carolina Central's 31-14 win over Southern University. There goes Southern's term again. On August 23rd, was initially reported as 8,606 or 866,960 viewers. Updated figures now place the live audience at 1,092,151 across ABC, ESPN streaming platforms, including ESPN Deportes. Remember, they added the ESPN Deportes. The change reflects Nielsen's new big data plus panel measurement system, which went into effect September 1st and was retroactively applied to week 0 and week 1 college football games. Significant big difference, and glad that they did the update and put it out there, I would say. Let's talk about how it works. Panel data. Nielsen's traditional panel of about 42,000 households continues to provide demographic depth. Mike likes them words when we talk about data. And then we get into big data sources. Data from cable, satellites, set boxes, and smart TVs expands coverage to more than 45 million households, 75 million devices. Hybrid approach. Panel demographics are layered onto large-scale data sets, creating a more accurate and balanced audience picture. Why it matters. Stability reduces zero rating gaps, especially in live sports. Cross-platform insight measures both linear and streaming audience, which is new. Accuracy provides a fuller view of modern viewing habits. Good point. Industry standards, I should say. The big data plus panel system is now the official rating currency of media buying and program divisions. Quote, by incorporating big data with the long-standing panel, we're able to capture a broader and more representative picture of audiences, end quote. Nielsen noted in its rollout announcement, quote, this ensures network advertisers, content creators have more reliable tools for planning and decision making, end quote. Good stuff. This goes a long way. As we know, this summer, SWAC TV was announced. So this should provide some big pictures as well for that as things start to turn around. We should have a big announcement coming in terms of that platform, but I won't spoil it for the SWAC TV and the SWAC office in terms of what they have planning moving forward. I'm appreciative of how they continue to change the game. With that being said, let's go to you, Charles. What's on your mind?
Yeah, well, we touched on it a little bit in terms of alleged behavior, but Southern promotes Fred McNair to offensive coordinator after a 1-2 start. So coming days after Southern's 30-7 home loss to Alabama State, head coach Terrence Graves today announced that quarterbacks coach Fred McNair will serve as the Jaguars offense coordinator for the rest of the season. So this is a statement from Coach Terrence Graves, who made some changes on offense. He said, the reason why we're doing it is simply because he's a veteran coach, a championship coach. He's been an offense coordinator, and he can add some wisdom and expertise to what we're doing to help us out. Everybody's on board. Those changes we feel we have to make in order to give ourselves a chance. And Graves mentioned himself. He's going to lead back into the third phase, which is special teams. So 7 turnovers for Southern over the first 3 weeks of the football season. So they've made a change here at offense coordinator. We'll see if that shakes things up for this Southern offense.
Big news going into the SWAC season in a couple of weeks for the Southern Jaguars. We'll see, and certainly keep a measuring stick of how it happens.
I have a question while we're right there. Simple question. Answer it. Why is there a need to publish an article called Southern's Terrence Graves insists that Jaguars still a good team? Why are you insisting? We in game 2 of the year our Lord 2025.
I can explain that to you, Mike. I get the benefit of being on these media calls on Monday. And some of these media people, and they have folks that oftentimes particularly follow a certain group. So one of the gentlemen that focuses on Southern asked the question, and I'm going to frame it like this. He asked the question, Coach, please explain to us, or please explain to your Southern media fans why they should believe that this is still a good team.
Okay, gotcha.
So that he provided an answer, and that article is directly related to that question. I thought it was a unique question to ask in a media session.
That's putting it nicely.
That's kind of where that goes, but I think it's a fair question, but that's the context to give a further framework of where it came from.
No, thanks for the context. I was wondering, why is there a need? This is game 2. Yes, we joke around and say they're on the lasers.
That's because people like Charles said get people off the ledge. But because you said get the folks on the ledge, obviously somebody out there is hearing some of these Southern folks, as Wilton said, that are on the ledge. And Coach listened to that, watched some film, and decided that it needed to be some changes, particularly after that particular type of question was asked, because we know in the Southern region, and we're not talking about Southern United States, we're not even talking about Southern Louisiana, we're talking about the campus of Southern. They do it a little differently. Right or wrong, they do it a little differently. And that's what you get when you have a program that does it a little differently. For those outside of that program, we're probably hoping that they don't quite get it right. But those people down there certainly want to make sure they get it right. I'm not sure if it's Graves' fault. A lot of folks will tell you this, that it's bigger than Graves. But that's some internal stuff that's going on at Southern University in terms of the football program. And expectations versus what people deliver are different. I'm not sure if folks' expectation is right, but who am I to tell Southern Jags what they should expect?
Agree.
With that being said, I'm going to see if we can quickly get in a couple of news cycles before we take our first break and get into some mid-major updates. So dedicate the rest of the show to that. But with that being said, let me see what Wilton Jackson II has to say in terms of what is on his chest, particularly after all this Southern talk. Too much Southern talk.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pivot away from the SWAC. I'm going to talk about Johnson C. Smith. They took down a Division II contender. They pulled off a landmark victory to improve to 2-0 in the season, knocking out perennial Division II contender Valdosta State 28-16. This was the Golden Bulls' first time playing against the reigning D2 national championship runner-ups that has had a history of being a thorn in the side of HBCU football teams for over a decade. Before this season, Valdosta State held a 25-2 record against HBCU programs since 2011, including a perfect 5-0 record in Division II playoffs. The most notable win against Winston-Salem State in 2012 to claim the school's second ever Division II national championship. In addition, they ended the historic playoff runs of Miles and Virginia Union last season on their road to a national championship berth. Johnson C. Smith's win shows they are ready to contend not only in the CIAA, where they have not claimed a conference title since 1969, but they are also ready to be national contenders.
Good news. Shout out to Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls. Boy, they did get it done, and it was not even close. I'm fascinated to see where will Johnson C. Smith be in terms of the rankings as they start to push out. Did you see any updates on that, AD Drew?
Yeah, I want to add something to that. That's going to be a huge victory for Johnson C and a big blemish on the Valdosta State mark. Valdosta State does not have the power of the Gulf South Conference to back them up this year because there are only 4 teams left in the Gulf South Conference. Now, all 4 teams in there are good. Don't get me wrong. But with only 4 teams in your conference, that means they're like the BAC of Division II. They'll be playing more non-conference games than conference games. And a loss to a non-conference foe like a Johnson C. Smith, who now, because of the shift, is a non-regional game. That we're going to see how that's going to affect everything when regional rankings and everything else come out towards the end of the year. That game may hurt. It would probably hurt Valdosta more than that win will help Johnson C.
Interesting.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Perfect update. To your point, Drew, Valdosta State has dropped to 11. The previous rank, they were 2. This is according to Flow Sports in terms of the Division II ranking. And don't see Johnson C. Smith as of yet in terms of the top 25. So for us fans that support HBCU's Division II rankings, CIAA and the SIAC, hopefully they continue to win, and then they'll leave no doubt. Be fascinating to see what that looks like. They're not even receiving votes at this point.
Yeah. So, Mike, that's my question, Doc. You beat a team that was arguably in the top 10 in the polls. What do you? How many more wins do you need to you at least be considered for the top 25? I
think that great question, and I think that is the problem with polls. Again, shout out at this point, Brian and AD, as they do on Sundays. They wait until about week 4. We saw that previously with the iterations, BCS and stuff like that, and we even see it in the CFP framework now with WSS Ram Nation. Giving some little talk right there. Keep doing what you're doing. Supporting the Division II program, mid-major programs, AD, Drew, and yourself. Stephen, I hope I didn't give away your code name. I think people know about that. With that being said.
Stephen who? Stephen but I don't know who he is. What his name is.
Exactly.
What's your name?
Follow up on Mike's question there. I think that's the challenge when you do these polls and you just have people voting. For so long, people have discredited the CIAA, SIAC. During the years when SIAC was getting it done, they were discredited and playing in a tough region. Didn't really matter. And then CIAA over the last decade, it's easy to see conference-wise that they show that they belong in terms of when they get a chance to have that run out of that region. They've had, quarterfinal finishes from 3 or 4 different programs over the last 15 years, really, if you want to put it back that far. So the fact that they don't get any doubt is something interesting to me, or get the benefit of the doubt, particularly if you follow this and you saw what Johnson C. Smith did last year. We knew they had a really good team. Yes. Did they fall on their face at the end of the year? Yes. But you talk in totality, and we saw what they did recruiting-wise. We followed and saw that they loaded the bear and that they should have a really good team, and this is the first indication that they do. But as they say in my part, just do your part. Keep winning. You can't control the things you can't control, but I think it's our job. And so thank you, Mike, for asking that question to put it on the table. And for those fans, a lot of our HBCU fans in themselves may lean towards the major division programs, but they do have an interest and an eye, particularly when we bring it up and point it out to them in terms of the mid-majors and folks like AD Drew, SSU Ram Nation, his crew. There's a group of fans dedicated HBCU sports in terms of they have writings and articles that are dedicated to D2, and even on their show. And now they have a platform where they break out a show that is dedicated to what we refer to mid-majors. So if you want to get the information out, you need to support this content, keep it going. With that being said, I know we kind of pushed that forward, but I think it was important. We got into that D2 talk, and we'll continue this other side, breaking down the top 7 from last week to see what they did in the weekend. For those that didn't hear it, we'll give you a quick follow-up. So let's take our first break, turn it over, and we'll get into the next 7 and provide that information to you.
Get ready for the inaugural. For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved.
Greetings, staffers. My name is Roland Austin, and I'm one of the directors at the 1876 Athletic Foundation. The 1876 Athletic Foundation was formed to promote the success of all 343 student athletes. Our overall goal is to fund scholarships for all of our student athletes. We ask that you help us in achieving this goal by donating to the 1876 Athletic Foundation via the QR code below or 1876.foundation. Your generous donation will help us continue to assist the needs of all of our Panther athletes. Thanks, and go Panthers.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I did want to give some love back out to Lincoln, Missouri. I know we did it Sunday and appreciate that, AD Drew. But before we get into some of these top 7 scores, shout out to Lincoln, Missouri for getting that win over Lincoln, California. Go back and check out Sunday's show or from ours or Sunday night in terms of the sports wrap, and they'll break down why that win was so significant as AD drops metrics on it. With that being said, let's bring up the poll, if you would. Not the poll, but bring up the top 7 games for last week so we can break down some of those scores and see what you think in terms of what happened with the top 7. Maybe give you some indication. This is the top 7 from week 1. Coming out of there in terms of week 0, actually. So we're going into week 1 for the mid-majors. Brian, again, shout out to you that doesn't like the in concurrence in terms of the week 0, week 1, and how it's different from major division programs in HBCU sports. But let's get into that number 1 team in terms of what took place and who played. Number 1 actually did not play. Let's go to the next slide if we can. We have that number 2 team. This was a fascinating matchup. It did go into overtime with Norfolk State got the win over Dr. Henry Frazier III. They were Trojans while all over Norfolk, but credit to the Norfolk Spartans. They said, not so fast, my friend. Shout out to the retired or so in terms of what he got done. But Norfolk State Spartans get the win, which means that Coach Vic get his first win of the season. He was excited about that, rightfully so. So with the players, be interesting to see what that looks like moving forward and how will the Trojans actually bounce back. Let's go to the next matchup in terms of our top 7. Number 3, we just talked about this in the intro. 2-0 are the Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls as they beat up on Valdosta State 28-16. Really dominated in a lot of ways in that game as they pulled away and showed that they are in the mix for this season. Next matchup we bring you is none other than number 4. Quietly, the Golden Rams, 49-21. This gets a little more interesting in terms of matchup for a lot of reasons. Some people have been sneaking around the chicken coop about this matchup for various reasons. In the last part of the show, we might get into what that looks like. You even see Charles over there talking about he seems like he's at the dinner table talking, licking his lips, saying, Anyway, they defeat Kentucky State 49-21 and improved to 2-0 and 1-0 in the conference race of the SIAC. Next slide, if we would. Let's go to the next program getting it done. That's number 5. AD Drew is smiling now. They're 2-0, 1-0 in terms of them beating Central State. They did what they're supposed to under the lights. They had a shutout, which goes in the record books, but they put up 33 points. This is after they defeated Winston-Salem State in that Red Tails Classic to open up things at the beginning of the year. So we'll see what this means. We have an intriguing matchup with Tuskegee, historically going to another historic program this week. If they hit on the road, they go to Jackson, Mississippi. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. That is a matchup where you have the number 1 team on the major division. So you do have 2 ranked teams in their respective divisions for us. So I'm fascinated to see what the gentlemen say about that also in the last segment. Let's go to number 6. Number 6 is out there. Changing coach hasn't hurt. Edward Waters, and Some may say maybe it'll help them. They're winning now 46-14. Coach Jinx down there getting it done. 2-0 of the Tigers, and this is also more importantly 2-0 in the SIEC. They win 46-14. If you ask AD Drew, he told us early in the season, as well as Stephen Smith, in terms of that Miles will struggle this year. They are on the ropes right now, as they have not had a win this season, including in the conference race. At number 7, as we close out things in terms of their top 7 did not play last week. So let me get your general thoughts in terms of what this looks like. Any surprises for you, Charles, in terms of the top 7, other than that Valdosta win?
Surprises, I don't think surprises, but Edward Waters being able to put up some points like they are with Noah Biden at quarterback, it's turning my head. And it's turning my head, especially with regards to their matchup this upcoming week that I'm sure we'll get into. But that's sort of a quiet, under the radar team that it turned my attention towards them this past week.
It can work out for him there, but he's getting off to a pretty good start. Quarterback was with the transfer quarterback. Wilton Jackson II. What are your thoughts in terms of the top 7?
I don't think it was any major surprise, but I was really excited to see what Brian Jenkins is doing with Edward Waters. Definitely their ability to score, put up points, and not only just put up points, but put up the amount of points that they did and get a massive win over Miles. I know we knew that this wouldn't be the same Miles team, but I think more than anything, the one that also stands out to me is this Golden Rams team putting up 49. Of course, it was Kentucky State, but I'm interested to see, are they ready to kind of take that next step in the SIAC this year?
You would bring up Coach Gray.
Yep.
He has a big matchup this weekend as he's traveling home. Drew drops his head a little bit and says he's not saying nothing about it. He has work to do at Morehouse. He's going to handle that. With that being said, Big Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of the scores that came out of the top 7 last week?
No surprises. I'm not a Division II expert, but my question is this. Again, Love Jones. I don't have all the answers. I just have all the questions. Albany State, Edward Waters. I can't decipher, is it just Edward Waters? Do they really have that proficient of a scoring offense? They're putting up 300, 400 yards a game against, two OC teams. Or is it we need to get deeper in the season? Because I really think Albany State kind of meets that mustard test. And I'm scratching my head on Edward Waters, which is currently this week #1 in the division. So those are my questions. Not the answers, but my questions. And
I think there's some good questions. One thing we know, they will be answered. Drew, where is that game played?
That's a good question. I don't have the schedules in front of me. I looked that up, especially because I see Steve and Kendrick in the chat. I've got here's the question of the day. Who is the best quarterback in D2 right now? Is it Isaiah Knowles?
Nice question.
Durham?
No to both.
Is it Noah Biden?
Well, statistically, it's Miles Scott.
Yes, it's Scott.
Yeah.
If you go by the data points, it's Scott.
Yep.
I like what you did there, AD. That was nice.
Well, boy. Good job, AD Drew, boy. Y'all are on one today, particularly with
Kelvin Durham.
Yeah, I'm not.
Or Noah Biden. I'm gonna ask again.
All right. Let me. Okay. Well, I mean, who has the better efficiency? Who has better average yards? If you go by the data points, Miles is not one person, but 2 people up against, who'd you say, Biden? Yes, statistically. So if you go by stats, data points, completion percentage, yards per pass, that thing, you got to go Miles. But I don't know. That eye test, and I know Dr. Cavill's going to give me, what is eye test? What's the criteria for that? It's my damn test. My test says Biden right now, to me, is playing to me. So,
except Kelvin Durham has the best win
Yeah, that's the king matchup. We'll save that to the end. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna give you plenty of time to get to that matchup. Let me give you an update. I did see that I don't understand this, but Albany State and Edward Waters does not play this year.
Wow.
That Clark Atlanta is still on the schedule, and that's an HBCU Go game, and that's in a couple of weeks. October 25th to be exact.
The guys out McDonald's doing a good job down here so far.
Edward Waters also goes to Bethune-Cookman. And so, man, I don't think you can go 2 years in a row losing to Division II programs and
do that.
Figure that. Interesting matchups as we get to it. Let's take our second break. Come back on the other side, and it's time to unveil week number 1, if you would, in the mid-major division, top 7, to see how things shook up based on the scores that we just saw in this segment. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this break and get right into it.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Boy, good commercial. Band of the Year. Boy, that second release should be interesting. It'll be coming shortly. With that being said, let's get into this top 7 of the mid-major division. I'm just saying, these folks are taking this marching sport pretty serious. So,
and I'll just Doc, I missed the band rankings.
We may just get into it as well. Go ahead, Drew.
I said I missed the band rankings we used to do.
Oh yeah, they not ready for us.
We took a unique approach.
They can't help. Yeah, we got matchups. We get all into it because you got to perform. You know, we got folks that won't take no trips. You know, people were a little nervous the way I did the rankings, but at the end of the year, I'll sneak my little foot back in the water a little bit and give some updates of what that looks like. Let's unveil this top 7 of the mid-major rankings for week number 1 after week 0. Let's look at this top 7. Dropping out this week was the Billy Tigers. We only have one team that dropped out this week, and they were undefeated, just to let you know how stacked it is at the Division II level. With that being said, let's see who's receiving votes outside of this top 7. Those Benedict Tigers are in the mix. They're 1-0 in terms of what they did this week. Bowie State Bulldogs are also 1-0, and they have a matchup with a major division program this week, one that had got the head coach the first win. And then we have Winston-Salem State Rams sitting at 0-1, and they have a big matchup as well to see if they can get things back right. With that being said, let's get into this top 7. At number 7, we have Clark Atlanta Panthers. They jumped back into the top 7 with the win this past weekend. They were not ranked after a loss to Valdosta State, 148 points. That trip they had in Birmingham played Valdosta tough, but they had a big win this past weekend as they played for Florida Memorial. One of the games that A.D. Drew says can no longer be scheduled by the rain gods out there that says we're just not going to let this be a regular played game. With that being said, let's go to number 6. Number 6, we got Virginia State Trojans. They stay in the poll. They do drop 4 spots. They're 1-1 on the season. Tough loss in overtime to Norfolk State. We'll see what that means, but they're at 149 points as they continue to chug away at the season. Number 5, we have the Edward Water Tigers, 2-0. They move up a spot from 6th last weekend. They are quickly rising. We'll see if they can continue to do the business of football. They're 2-0, not only overall, but also in the SIAC. At number 4, we have the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. They've woken up. They're 2-0 overall, 1-0 in the conference race, 166 points. They move up 1 spot from last week after being number 5. Bringing us to number 3. These are some of the heavy hitters, or at least some. Albany State, as Mike likes to remind us, they say in those parts, that's the Golden Rams, 2-0 overall, 1-0 in the SIAC. 2 first-place votes, 198 points. They were previously ranked 4, so they move up a spot. They head on the road to a major division program. They put that undefeated schedule on the line. At number 2, Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls. They got the big victory, and they stay undefeated, 2-0. 2 first-place votes, 201 points. They move up a spot as well. They previously ranked 3, so they're on their way up. But number 1 remains Virginia Union Panthers, who've been in the number 1 ranking for 4 straight weeks, going back to last year. They did not play last weekend, but they hold on to the number 1 spot. They lose a first-place vote, but they're still getting it done. 219 points, if you would. Ranked number 1 in terms of the rankings. And you see it. The top 7, Clark Atlanta Panthers, Virginia State Trojans, Edward Water Tigers, Tuskegee Golden Bears. In the top 3, Albany State Golden Rams, Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls, and the Virginia Union Panthers. I see people squinching up. I see Wilton Jackson II with the steadfast Kappa face. Mike Washington, Big Mike. Amy, you have something to say. I'm going to go to Wilton first. He's so clean in the Board of Health. Tell me, what do you think about number 1's rankings, top number 7?
So in looking at these rankings, 1 through 3 for me are good. Tuskegee at 4 is fine with me. I personally maybe would have flipped Edward Waters and Virginia State, mainly due to the fact that Virginia State playing against a Norfolk State team, obviously a major division team. So I would have given them a little bit more of a nod there. And there's no discredit to Edward Waters because I'm excited to see what they're doing. Like I said, Brian, to see what they're doing out there. So I definitely think that Virginia State, if it was me, I would have maybe given Virginia State at 5 and Edward Waters at 6.
I will not beat you up over that. That is good points. You can continue to join the show. A.D. Drew, I'm not going to say that to you because you also produce. So oftentimes we're begging for you to come on the show. But you're also the top 7. Did I just say that out loud? Go ahead.
On Sunday's show, Brian had me do an impromptu top 5 in Division 2.
He really did.
And your top 5 equal my top 5, except for number 1 and 2. I had flip-flopped. I have to put Johnson C at the number 1 slot because they have the best win of anybody on this list right now. So 3 through 7, no argument with whatsoever. I do flip Johnson C, and Virginia Union. And I know the rule is they're the defending champion, and you leave them there until somebody beats them. But when Johnson C goes out and gets a win over the defending national runner-up, you're going to get some bonus points for me on my poll.
Yeah. Well, AD Drew, I'll give you this. I'm the first one out there that tells everybody this is a week-to-week poll. This is a new season.
Week to week, Johnson C.
Play last week. Johnson C. Smith did and got a big win. So I actually like what you just said there. I think it makes a lot of sense. So again, we will continue to ask you to produce the show and join us whenever you can.
No,
Charles, what are your thoughts?
Stop it. You just want him to produce the show.
Somebody got to push these buttons, man.
I said it openly.
Well, I think.
See, Wilton, they don't understand. I got my clean clothes on today. I talk a little different when I knew Wilton would be on the show. I wanted to make sure you understood.
I know.
Watch yourself, young man. Watch yourself. Go ahead, Mike, before I go to Charles. I'm going to save Charles for last, and Mike jumped in there and cut you off. Charles.
No, I'm sorry. Charles, go ahead, man.
I was just about to say, Wilton and AD, they didn't leave much meat on the bone because
I know.
The way they describe it is exactly what I was thinking. I mean, for me, it caught me off guard to see Virginia Union's number one. So for me, Johnson C. Smith will probably be number one team with that huge win over Valdosta State. And just seeing how Virginia State played Norfolk State, I probably would have flip-flopped Virginia State and Edward Waters because that was an impressive showing to me against an FCS opponent. So I tell you what, it creates some intriguing matchups this upcoming weekend. I can't wait till we get to that segment, but those would be my flip-flops on the poll.
Yeah. Well, you see where the 2 first place votes came from. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Shoot, nothing different than what's been stated. I would have had Johnson C. Smith. I mean, you look at strength of schedule, who they played to win. I also would have moved Virginia State up over Edward Waters. I would have potentially, you could argue, you could make an argument with Tuskegee, but now, right somewhere in between 4 and 5, number 4 with Virginia State. That was an impressive win against an FCS opponent. So no change in what AD. I'm gonna give you your prop. But I'm not going to agree and go to the extent that Yada did. He probably made you pie, cooked your dinner, and everything.
It takes a little more than a production show for me to cook dinner. Barbecue?
I'm sorry.
Not so much. Dinner? Yes.
No, but seriously, I agree with what everyone said. I would have had Johnson C. Smith at number 1 and then move Virginia State up at least 1 notch for sure.
Well, you would have made things a lot closer if you got your poll rankings in, but I won't blame it on you. You did have a 6 o'clock flight Sunday, so. After you had me take you home because you can't purchase a good rental car, but that's a whole different story. Had me all on in South Dallas, try to drop y'all big old house. Anyway, let's take our next trip.
Live in Galveston.
But still, for real, that's just how big Houston is. With that being said, let's take a last break, come back on the other side, and talk about what these guys are itching to get to. Some of these huge matchups this weekend. Can a mid-major get it done? Can they get the upset? We'll see what these guys think right after this break.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeaversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC. Plus, an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with the professors. We have Professor Jackson, Professor Washington, Professor Bishop, and Professor Drew. Let's get into this last segment where we talk about the matchups. One we just heard in the commercial break. That's a big one. But let's see where we go first. You see the number one ranked team that we just talked about. We're going to go with that number one ranked team, Virginia Union Panthers. 1-0 versus number 5, Edward Waters. It's in Jacksonville. So the number one team goes on the road representing the CIAA versus the SIAC. The matchups right now are 3-3. This one to decide who will get the trophy for the matchup between the CIAA and SIAC. Who gets to host it this year? Last year, that trophy, that's an imaginary trophy. I hadn't got it to them yet. Last year, it resided in the CIAA. Will it stay in the CIAA or will it go down south to the SIAC? More importantly, we got a big-time matchup, top 5 matchup. The Panthers take on the Tigers. Wilton, what do you say about this matchup?
I think this is going to be a really good matchup, but I think I'm going to give my edge to Coach Parker in Virginia Union. I would really like, obviously, what Brian Jenkins is doing with Edward Waters, but I just got to give my edge to Virginia Union and what they're going to be able to do. I think they get a win against Edward Waters.
Big win to go on the road against the top 5 program that's playing some good football. Great points. Let me go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
You know, as excited as I am about this matchup, especially you have these SWAC expatriates down there with Edward Waters, Noah Biden, Coach Jenkins, and Coach Dooley. You know, Coach Marino Castle, he said it best. You know, the best way to slow down high-powered offenses, and you keep them off the field. And Edward Waters is going to get a big dosage of Curtis Allen in this game. So for that reason, I got to go with Virginia Union to get the win down there in Jacksonville.
That's 2 for the Panthers. Mike, what do you say?
I'm gonna echo what Charles said. I mean, you look at what Virginia Union's doing on that rushing game, that ground and pound. I got to go with Virginia Union all day, every day, 3 times past Sunday, plus the Frenchie's 3-piece plus the pepper.
I love those peppers. 3-piece white for me.
3-piece white. There you go. Yeah, there
3-piece
you go.
white, absolutely, with the pepper.
With the pepper.
Hey, Drew, are you able to get in on this mix? You on mute?
Maybe can't get in on the mix.
Okay. Let's go to the next matchup. We don't want to get him in trouble. We certainly understand. He got a little home team, so we know where he's pulling for sure. But with that being said, let's keep going. Let's go to the next one. Is Drew frozen there?
Yeah, Drew might
Yeah,
be
he
frozen.
he might be frozen.
All right, let's get into that next game. I'll tell you what it looks like as he's getting back in here.
Sorry, Doc, my internet buffered on campus.
Well, there he is.
No problem. All the people in Atlanta, you know, y'all love those. Go ahead, Drew. Are you able to talk about that 1 versus 5, or you want us to move forward?
No, I was just gonna quickly say, you know, Dr. Parker, I love you to death. You know, we've had many conversations together, but you heading down to that Florida Heat, man. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to handle that 4 o'clock heat in Duval. That's a different kind of heat for those who have never been down there in Duval. So, and Edward Waters is on the road. Brian Jenkins is looking like the Brian Jenkins that I knew and hated, not love, hated when he was at Cooking. So, you know, he's doing a great job thus far. I'm leaning E-Dub. Plus, I got to go with a little conference pride. We need this one to win the conference series.
I like it.
Yes, good point. Yeah, I will say this: it is a little different heat when you go Florida, but they did go to Georgia, South Georgia, where it's not that much different, and find a way to get a win against Valdosta a couple of years ago. Not last year in the playoffs. Coach Jackson that led them is now back over there at Prairie View. With that being said, let's go to this second matchup. Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls 2-0 on the season at Elizabeth City State Vikings 0-2. It is a conference matchup. I guess the question here is, do the Vikings even have a chance? We probably could do this pretty quickly. I'll go back. Drew, do the Vikings have a chance?
Not if Kelvin Durham is healthy.
Charles?
I got to go Johnson C. Smith. Even though Elizabeth City led Hampton 13-10 at halftime, I'm still going with the Bulls on this.
Actually, yeah, you're right. They did. And they got it up to 20-10. Mike?
No, I don't even want to go. If such and such is playing, they led. No. Let's stop the madness.
They believe they actually won that game. They had a touchdown in the end zone. The refs didn't see it.
I know. I'm going Johnson Smith. I'm sorry. I know.
Wilton, you gonna make it a clean sweep?
I am. I'm laughing because, you know, Mike is typically the one that has data points. He said, I don't need no data points for this game. I won't disagree with him either. Give me Johnson C. Smith.
He said neither one of you need those data points. Let's go to number 4. This is interesting. That's number 4 on the mid-major side. They travel to Jackson, Mississippi. A lot of historic framework on this game. Last time Tuskegee went to Jackson, they got the victory. Most would say that was a different era of Jackson football. Some, those in Jackson, want to forget. They are coming in as the number 1 ranked major division team. So Tuskegee comes in at 2-0, 1-0 in the conference race, while Jackson comes in 1-1 after a tough road loss to Southern Mississippi. That is the FBS program they took the L to. But we'll see what their thoughts. We're going to go straight to Charles on this one. What do you think about this matchup?
Doc, I remember well 2017 down there in Mobile when Tuskegee knocked off Jackson State 34-7. In fact, Jackson State had more penalty yards and total yards, and I was teaching classes on how to jump off the ledge back then. It was horrific. It was horrific, but I do think this is a different era of Jackson State football, thank God. So I got to go with the Jackson State Tigers on this one.
Charles said his prayers were answered.
Oh,
Mike.
brother ever. Thank you.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Again, I don't need data points. You got the number 1 ranked team playing Tuskegee. Tuskegee did well. Great. You beat Central State. Great job for you. Gold star for you. But you were playing the number 1. And y'all mentioned that win. That was 4 years before before COVID happened. That was a whole generation away. So let's just look at where things are now.
Rough times, Mike. It was rough times. I'm telling you.
I feel for you. I know you remember them like they yesterday, but I'm gonna go with Jackson State on this. You don't need data points here.
When folks say we always been there, I sit there and look at them like this. Really? Okay.
Wilton, what are your thoughts?
I'm like Charles. It's just good to see that the team is good now. They've been good for some years now. If we want to keep adding to that, so I definitely think that they're going to get this win against Tuskegee. I think this is also a Jackson State team coming off a loss to Southern Miss. They're going to be eager to add another win. This is a home game after being on the road this past week. I can assure you that TC will have those guys ready to play and locked and loaded.
Eddie, I'm gonna ask you from this standpoint: what would it take for the Golden Tigers to get this done against Tigers of Jackson State?
It's going to take E.J. Hall having a breakout game. He's one of the top receivers in the SIAC right now. He's ranked number 10 with average of 22 yards per catch. Everybody, we need E.J. Hall to do what he needs to do. And then on the other end, you've got a preseason All-American. We need him to be the lockdown corner, that being one Mr. Michael King. If those two can show up, if King can take away half the field from Jackson State and allow that extra backer or that extra safety to come up and support the run, Tuskegee has a prayer. I don't know. I doubt if that prayer gets answered. A prayer. But they have a chance to hang around until the fourth quarter.
Mike, don't be telling folks where they can answer their prayers or not. Hey, Drew, I'm gonna let you sit out on this one because this is where your check comes from, and we don't need you to get into that. I will say this about the SIAC. I like this weekend when it falls away. They get to play all three conferences. They had the matchup we talked about, the CIAA. We just talked about the matchup against the SWAC. Now they have one in NY. It's actually played in New Jersey, but they take on Howard, number 7 in the major division poll of the MEAC. Morehouse Maroon Tigers are 0-1. They face number 7 Howard Bison 1-1. That game looked close early. Played some good football by Maroon Tigers last year, but Howard fixed it and got it going away. Will there be any difference this year, Mike?
Before you get going, can I just throw a couple stats out there? I won't comment on the game, but I'll throw a couple numbers out there.
Please do.
All right. 125th season of Maroon Tiger football. Morehouse is 10-28-2 against Howard all time. And the last victory against Howard was in 1969, everybody. So just a couple of numbers that you'll see come out about this game.
Man, those divisions do make a difference.
Last year's game drew 31K.
Good stuff. Good update. Great data to provide it. With that being said, Charles?
Yeah, I think I'm fascinated with regards to this game in terms of who's going to be in the suites, especially when you take a look at the alumni of Morehouse and Howard. So that caught my eye.
Come on.
And then playing in the Northeast as well. I'm looking forward to a great crowd. As far as the matchup on the field, got to go with the Howard Bison to get the win on this one. I think the offense is a little bit too powerful for Morehouse.
Certainly. Wilton?
I definitely got Howard in this game. This is a Howard team that also, obviously came off of a loss against Temple last week, but they beat FAMU in that first week. So I'm interested to see if that momentum is going to carry over, which they shouldn't have too many problems going up against Morehouse this week. But also to Charles' point, though, if I was going to that game, I'm sure the suites would be filled with a lot of elite people.
There you go.
There it is. Boy, that's interesting. We have some games where you talk about the bands. Now we to the point where we talk about the suite. Go to this next matchup. SIAC had a CIAA conference game, so we do have a SIAC conference game. It features a team that is just out the top 7, actually number 8, Benedict Tigers of 1-0 after a big win last weekend. They play Central State Marauders, who are 0-2, both overall and in conference play. So I'm not sure there's a lot of talk about this matchup, but it is a conference game. So I put it out there, the only SIAC conference game this week. I'm gonna go back to you, Drew. Any thoughts on this matchup? Does the Marauders have a chance against Benedict?
Let's see. Marauders have played 8 quarters of football this year.
Yes.
They've only scored in 2 of those quarters. So
the
question is, how long will it be before they score? They have not scored in the last they've not scored all against Tuskegee, and their last touchdown, their last score was 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of the Kentucky State game, which was game 1. So how long will the scoreless streak go? Right now it's at 63 minutes and 40 seconds. So that'll be what we need to look at.
I don't know how to respond after that one, Charles.
Yeah.
I know, right? I mean,
good stuff there, AD.
It looks as though Central State is kind of allergic to the end zone, and that doesn't bode well for a team that that shut out a team in this first game. So I got to go with Benedict in this one. Defense just a little bit too tough for the Marauders.
Mike, allergic.
Yeah, allergic. I like this. So Central State in 2 games. Man, in 2 games. 2 games.
Yes.
2 games. They're allowing their opponent 33 points a game. Not much less how much they're scoring. And then Benedict's doing a little better on the defensive side, but on the offense, neither one of them are just really busting out the charts. Benedict's 10 points, Central State's 12 points on average. So neither one of them are really scoring. But if I had to choose one based on defense and what I see stat and what Benedict is allowing its opponents to score, they only have 1 game, so 1 data point. Can't go completely on that because it's a skewed distribution. You know what that is, AD, right? A skewed distribution? Okay, that's what I thought.
Hey, that Tuskegee degree is worth a little bit, Mike. A little bit.
You asked me 2 games ago what I meant. So, all right. Anyway, but I got to go on what I see and how I've seen Central State play. I got to go with Benedict on this one.
Since Mike is talking about the distribution, Wilton, what do you say is the spread of this game?
I don't even know if I don't want to say it's going to be a lot of points scored because Drew just eloquently just stated that Central State ain't scored in 63 minutes, and I don't really see them scoring right away when that game starts. So we might say maybe 10, 12 points, but I honestly, for real, I definitely give the edge to Benedict specifically more so because of the defense that they're going to bring into this game, and I think they're going to get the
all right. That's a good point when you talk about it, looking at the defense. Let's get to our last matchup before we call it a show. This features 2 top 10 teams, essentially, if you look outside of the top 7 with teams receiving votes. Both teams got wins last week. So with that being said, we have the mid-major program, Bowie State Bulldogs. Have they righted the ship? They come in at number 9 in terms of the poll rankings receiving votes. 1-0, and they're at number 8, major division Delaware State Hornets that received votes in the major division poll at 1-1 after Coach Jackson got his first win over Albany. That being said, the Great Danes went back and forth, but the Hornets got the last sting in that matchup. With that being said, I want to get the thoughts of Wilton on this particular matchup.
I think Delaware State is going to keep it going. Coach Jackson was able to pick up their first win, and I expect them to get another win this week against a tough Bowie State program.
AD Drew.
This is one of 8 what I call get right games when we were talking about this weekend, where you have an FCS playing a Division II. The thing with this one, and this was what really intrigues me, you really don't know too much about Bowie because there is no data. There's only that 1 data point. And we've seen Delaware State, despite the 1-1 record, they've actually played rather well in both games that they played. Delaware State this is not your son's Delaware State. team that we used to see in these last couple of years. I expect Delaware State to actually kind of win this game rather easily, but I'm really interested to see, is Bowie State going to be the Bowie State of old, or what we saw last week just an anomaly? You remember what that is, Mike?
Yes, I do. AD.
Go ahead, Mike. Since Drew passed you the mic.
Yes, I got two names for you for Delaware State: Caden Bennett, and then Marquise Gillis, Russian. I saw Delaware State, and I text a couple of y'all. I said, "Dude, this Delaware State, this ain't that same old Delaware State. This ain't your mom and them, Delaware State." So I look for them to win this game, quite handily. I had the same question: is Bowie State back in the football business? They don't necessarily have to win this game to prove that, but I want to see if they're back into that old Bowie State, of 8-9 years ago. But just looking at how Marquise Gillis and how Delaware State played this last week, I saw them. That eye test, they are for real. So I go with Delaware State.
Good stuff. Delaware State was named HBCU FCS National Team of the Week by Stats Perform.
Yeah.
With that being said, Drew, where are you with this?
You already went to me.
I'm sorry. Charles.
Yeah, no. I'm going to echo what everybody's been saying. I mean, this looks like a different Delaware State team. I mean, they have looked impressive in their first couple of games. And I think, you have a very interesting, nice little 1-2 combination with the dual threat ability of Caden Bennett, as well as Marquise Gillis in the backfield with Delaware State. So I look for Delaware State to put some points up in this game. I think it'll be an interesting game early, but I think Delaware State goes ahead and pulls away in the next 3 quarters. So I got Delaware State big in this one.
Good stuff. Wilton, close it out on these matchups.
Oh, definitely. In this particular case, Delaware State is going to get this win against Bowie State. And, I mean, that's just essentially how I feel about that. I think, like I said, to everybody's point, will Bowie State be the same team that they've been in previous years, or will it be the old Bowie State? I think that's what we're waiting to see. So I'm definitely giving my nod to Delaware State.
Good stuff. Last question before we call it the show. From the mid-major and major division matchups we have out there, do you all see any upsets? I'm going to start with you, Drew. Any upsets that you see this week? And if so, which one?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not going there, Jaws. I'm not going there.
Well, yeah, tell us what you're thinking, AD.
Reason I called Charles out is I'm not going to the Tuskegee Jackson State game.
I wasn't thinking that one.
That's not the one I thought you were talking about.
I know everybody wants me to go Albany State and FAMU, but I'm gonna tell you the one not to sleep on. Yes. Don't sleep on Kentucky State going to Grambling. That's one you don't want to sleep on.
Interesting. I agree. That's a good one.
Okay, that's great. But back to FAM.
That's the matchup to watch.
I'm sorry.
Mike, go ahead since you're jumping out there. Back to FAM. What do you call it? Which one?
Man, Albany State, all 315 yards a game of Albany State can pull this game on. This, and I'm going to underline, this is going to happen in Tallahassee. Fill in the break, AD.
I will say this. If FAMU don't change their punt formation and go with that stack to one side on the punt, will allow the other team to bum rush them from the other side, it's going to be a long day in Bragg. We will not be bragging if they play like they played last week against Florida.
This the home opener at Bragg, right?
Was that?
Go ahead, y'all.
This the home opener at Bragg, right?
And it may be the closing for somebody.
His funeral.
No,
the home going for somebody.
It's kind of
flower
scary.
Singing. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because Isaiah knows reigning SIAC Player of the Week. Accounted for 7 touchdowns last week, 6 in the air, 1 on the ground. you can't let him get up and go rolling early. And that's the thing that I think is kind of scary with regards to this game, that Fam's offense can't be stagnant in this game, because it could turn into what was Clark, Bethune-Cookman last year. So that's the thing that kind of scares me a little bit with regards to this game, but I'm not ready to jump out on that ledge. I'll take the Rattlers in this one.
It kind of reminds me of about 3 years ago when Giardina came in with Albany State and gave FAMU a run for their money, and FAMU had to pull away in the fourth quarter against Albany State.
That's a good point. I'm not sure they got the offensive power work to pull away. They got to find a way to get ahead. The other part that O&G, now they do a show on Monday doing a review of the game, which is fascinating. Great work by those gentlemen in terms of what they're doing there. They talked about their concern in terms of the defensive front not being able to really put pressure on the quarterback. And you just talked about, Charles, talking about how much offensive power that the Golden Rams are coming in with in terms of their quarterback player of the week. Wilton?
No, I echo what everybody else says. If Isaiah Knowles is comfortable in that pocket and moving around in the backfield, delivering passes with ease, it's going to be a long day. And I promise you, if FAMU loses that game, you will not hear the end of it.
So you talking about another team on the ledge? My good, 2 of the power brokers on the ledge. We got 3 for the Golden Rams and 1 for Thoroughbreds. It'll be interesting. Anything else? Any other one to keep your eye on?
Can I throw one more thing about FAMU game?
Sure
Y'all
can.
talk about Isaiah Knowles. Watch Tion Weiss.
Tion Weiss, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good call.
Can FAMU control him?
Yeah,
I agree. Great point made there. With that being said, go ahead, Mike. Last comment.
No, I was going to agree with that. Tion Weiss, second in SIC and rushing. So he's kind of that's an X factor, game changer. So
Well, stick with us. We will be back on Thursday. We'll talk about the major division, some of those matchups we might sneak in a mid-major game or two.
Sorry, I read the caption. Read that. Wait, so AD, where your bread buttered?
SIAC, baby.
Man, that AD Drew, that's smart. Thank you for listening inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson II, and AD Drew. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday. You know by now, it's football season, so we're back on Sunday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Before you get out to church, as you're getting dressed, getting ready, make sure you get your HBCU Sports update in the morning. We will unveil the major division top 7 and see what's going on after the games this week. Again, we look forward to next Thursday as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram, DrKenyattaCavil. That's Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. For those that had to check back in, we will get it fixed. Facebook is working through their live process, so some bugs in there. We will get it back to you. Dream big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Mike?
Lecture.
AD Drew and Wilton?
Dismissed.
Oh, they did it again. That's true.
Simpatico.
Man, y'all getting a little extra shows. Y'all calling practice. Hey.
I mean, that's cute. That's really cute.